Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and or girls. I'm your host, Greg Romero Wilson, and this is Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. Listen, guys, hey, what's going on? Jason Wolgamuth, welcome to the show. I just saw the announcement that the LA Comedy Club in the Stratosphere Casino is open once again, which is great news for everybody trying to get back to work. And, you know, I know for the club there and everybody in Vegas, their cases are not like it is in California, so I know they've all been very eager to get back to work. I don't know if I'm so eager. I don't know that I'm so eager. I'm still holding out. I've been turning down outdoor shows. I'm doing everything that I can basically for my own comfort level. I just, until we have a better solution, better therapeutic, something that, should I catch it, I don't feel like I'm going to wind up, in the hospital on ventilator, on oxygen. It's still a very difficult choice, but everyone has to go with their own personal choice on this, and I understand that, and I think we all have to understand that about each other. But enough about that. Let's talk about that. Kimberly Hewitt, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Hey, bud, I performed with you at the Strat in Vegas. Oh, thank you very much. Dustin, what's going on, man? Well, looks like the Strat's back open, so maybe we can repeat that performance once again. And guys, listen, this is a season dominated by COVID. COVID right now is dominating what we're doing. I mean, let's be honest. This has been a lot less fantasy football and a lot more harsh reality, which is not, obviously the way any of us wanted it. This isn't what we were hoping would happen, but that's essentially what did happen, and we're dealing with it. Particularly now, it's so funny. A buddy of mine, I have my All Comedians League, brilliant comedian, Manny Maldonado, total pain in the ass. But he actually goes, hey guys, remember the Titans. Which is really probably what I should name this episode, because let's face it, it's the Titans that are bringing us down. Jonathan Mesh has a big question: play Mostert or Henderson? And this is a tough question because Henderson looked so great coming out of the gate, and then he just kind of fell off a cliff. And then Mostert is coming off an injury, and you know how much they love running back by committee. So it's like, that's kind of a toss-up. But let's look at the matchup. So for the Rams, let's see here. Where are you? Rams. And so you have Mostert. San Francisco's versus Miami, which, okay, here's the thing about Miami. Surprisingly good defense. They've actually shown up the last couple of weeks, and I know nobody's talking about their defense yet, so let me be the first to talk about their defense, because the reality is they got a pretty good fucking defense. So that's right. And Kimberly, we're big Cowboys fans, but man, I'm actually scared going against the Giants, because anytime a team faces their old coach, it's very bad for that team, because that coach knows all the little ins and outs, and so they may make the Titans forfeit, yes, which is terrible. It forfeits a game. I mean, and for the Bills, I mean, the team that really gets fucked in all this, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't get a free victory. They had to actually they had to prepare a whole week, then have it announce their bye. So instead of getting to relax for their bye week, they still did all of that stuff. I love it. Renee Vaca, I'm 0-4 after taking all of your advice. Hey, listen, that'll teach you. That'll teach you to listen to me. But again, this has been such a weird season. It's been very bizarre. I mean, look at. I'm calling him Count Drake-ula. Onside kick, motherfucker. That was the best play we've had all year for the Cowboys. But I'm calling him Count Drake-ula because right now, Kenyon Drake sucks. And I can't believe it. He was a guy, and I think it's one of those things that, like, they get paid, they get a position, and they get comfortable. And they stopped trying as hard. And again, it was such a weird off season. Who knows what kind of extra workout regimen they were set up for at home. And if you weren't set up for at home, then, then you didn't get to work out. And you didn't get to work out with your team. But I think with a lot of these guys, when they get comfortable with the position, he knew he was going to be the running back one. He didn't have to worry about his roster spot. And I think we're seeing that here in the first few weeks. Can he turn it around? Well, it took Derrick Henry to week 3, and then he scored 2 touchdowns. And listen, if Count Drake-ula is going to shed the Count Drake-ula persona and stop sucking, then this has got to be the week. It's the Jets. It's the fucking Jets. Although the Jets, they sat Darnold. They're going with Flacco, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of fear Flacco a little bit more. I mean, Flacco's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and Darnold, he just was so dumb. He was a dumb Darnold. You know, that's such a great name. Just shut up, Darnold. Like, that's it. That's what I'm calling everybody who's a jackass. I'd be like, shut up, Darnold. You're being such a Darnold. So the San Francisco's, I mean, on the surface, it looks like a pretty good matchup for him. And then the other one was with the Rams. Where are you, my Ramses? Did I miss you? I must have missed you up here. Oh, there they are. Oh, there was the Washington football team. Again, another team that has a surprisingly good defense. And they're starting another quarterback this week, which might really reinvigorate the team, to be perfectly honest. This is another one that I'm not really I'm kind of scared about. But at the end of the day, it's a coin toss. I think, boy, both of them like to do the committee thing, to be perfectly honest. But Mostert, he just has to touch the ball, and it's electric. And so for me, go with your gut, make your choices, don't blame me, but I would say Mostert. Mostert would be my call. Should I play Golden Tate? Was he injured? Wasn't he injured? Hasn't he been in and out? It depends on who your other players are, Max. I wouldn't be able. But it's the Giants. The Giants have stuck, but they are against the Cowboys, who have been giving up yardage to everybody like a waterfall of points. So in that regard, I mean, it's not a bad play to play Golden Tate. That's for sure. Bye, Kimberly. So I would say, I mean, but again, Golden Tate right now. I mean, it seems to be Darius Slay. I mean, that offense hasn't been clicking. Obviously, they've been installing a new offense, so that's kind of tough. So if I were you, I mean, it's not a bad play. It depends on who else you have, but considering the way that the Cowboys have turned every game into a shootout and made every other team look fucking spectacular, it's not a bad idea, especially, again, because the Giants, you know, they have Jason Garrett, and he knows every little thing about that Cowboys team, with the exception of some of these new players on the pass rush, but he knows their weaknesses. And so in that regards, I mean, Golden Tate might be a very sneaky play this week. If you can't beat the Jets, call it a season. Love, Mitchell. Thank you. And I agree with that. I mean, it's tough. But Arizona will undoubtedly beat the Jets. It's just a matter of whether or not Count Drake-ula sheds the cape, pulls, and actually gets out there and plays some fucking football. Play every tight end against Atlanta. That seems to be very, very true. Play everybody against Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's, again, they're a sieve just like the Cowboys. Huge offense, no defense. And so either one of those, you're going to want to play everybody against them because they're giving up so many points. And listen, here's the thing, guys. Let's start with tonight's game, the Thursday night game, The Thursday night game, let me see, did I miss any notes? And listen, that's injuries, cancellations, bye weeks. But yes, and back to that, the Steelers are the ones that really got screwed because they didn't get a real bye week. And now the Bills might get a free fucking victory. And that, I mean, I would lose my mind if I were on the Pittsburgh Steelers and they get a free victory and a week off, and you didn't even get a week off. And you don't get a week off. Deebo Samuel versus David Montgomery. Deebo Samuel is my choice, but again, I've led you wrong in the past. So, but I think Deebo, because again, they worked him in last week. He started to get involved. I think he gets much more involved this week. He looked really good. He looked really healthy. And David Montgomery, this Tampa Bay defense, first of all, Thursday nights are weird. Stay away from them if you can. And the Tampa Bay defense is a great defense. They're the number 2 defense right now. But I'm going to tell you something else. Okay, so every single week, right? Every single week, one tight end goes off and gets 3 touchdowns, okay? And it's been a different tight end, and that tight end has not been able to repeat it. I'm talking about you, Tyler Higbee, what was the other one? Jimmy Graham, and now we have, what's his name? The one that just did it, that everybody, Kenyon, that everybody went and picked up. So every week, it seems to me there's one tight end that goes off. And I'm going to tell you which tight end it is right now at the end of this show. I'll tell you right now. Because I honestly believe that it's going to be tonight, and it's going to be Rob Gronkowski because I dropped him this week. And we all know that I dropped him for Mo Alley Cox because the consistency is better there. I also have Jimmy Graham. I'm waiting for Jared Cook to feel better. And the real problem was I can't wait for Monday to see if Jared Cook is going to play and then I have to play Troutman. So I wasn't going to let that fucking happen to me, you know. So I went out and I got Mo Alley Cox because I like the consistency better with Mo Alley Cox. So, but I'm telling you, because I dropped him, because it's Thursday night, because everybody else is injured. Of course, this is what I thought when I played Gronkowski last week, and he did throw it to the tight ends. He threw it to Brate, and he threw it to O.J. Howard, and he threw it to all the tight ends, not named Gronkowski. But I feel like tonight's the night. It's going to be Gronkowski. He's going to be that guy that gets 3 touchdowns. And I say that, and I'm playing against the guy that has Rob Gronkowski. But I don't know if he's in his lineup. I don't know if he's even going to watch this or listen to it. So, but if you have Rob, I'm telling you, I believe he's the 3 touchdown tight end for this particular week. Going into tonight, listen, I have to play Tom Brady. Every week that I don't play Tom Brady, he goes off. And then every time I do play him, he sucks. So listen, can I tell you, this kept me up at night. Because I'm looking at it just like I looked at last week going, this is going to be a bad week for Tom Brady. This is going to be another one of those heartbreaking weeks. But, you know, I have to roll with him. I have to roll with him and roll with him consistently because he's shown that when he gets on like the last 2 weeks, he's been on fire. So I have to roll with him. I'm not excited about it, but that's why I think tonight is the night that he gets the Gronk going, and the Gronk, he has to go out and catch those passes, and they're going to be in the end zone. Expect it to be Gronk party night, and I can't get him back in time for this game. He's on waivers. He would show up on Saturday, and at that point, it's too late. Let's see. So, going into tonight, and listen, for the Bears, again, this is a very tough matchup for them against this Tampa Bay defense. Again, they're the number 2 defense right now in fantasy football. Nick Foles, and, I played Nick Foles last week because he came out through 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. I'm like, I like what's happening there. I like him in this comeback position. That's when he's great. And then he went out there and sucked so many dicks. You would have thought he was on Fire Island. He was slurping him down. It was awful. But this may be the week that he finds his feet and he starts getting a little bit better. So we'll see. Who knows what happens with that. But you definitely have to play A-Rob. I would not play Foles. I think you play Tom Brady. And again, you have to play Mike Evans, obviously. But I think I think Jimmy Graham actually might have a touchdown in this one. I do like Jimmy Graham in this one. And I think Rob Gronkowski is going to be that tight end that gets the 3 touchdowns this particular week. That's my thought on that. That's for tonight. I will be watching, and I'm trying to. Can I tell you guys? I'm doing sober October, and I'm on like day 3, and it already sucks. Because there's nothing I like better than just sitting down with a drink and eating wings and a beer and fucking Thursday, and now womp womp. Brady or Breeze for me. Okay, this is very tough. This is a tough call. For me, right now, you have to go with Brady, but Breeze is playing on Monday night, and he should get Michael Thomas back. But what happens, and he should get Jared Cook back. But what happens if you get to Monday and they decide to keep out Michael Thomas for another game, and they decide to keep out Jared Cook for another game, and it's too late? And now you have Breeze with no weapons. That is a very tough call. So you potentially have Breeze with no weapons, and you have a definitive Brady with no weapons who still somehow managed to squeeze out 5 touchdowns this week. So for me, even though I honestly, Brady, national spotlight, for me, it's Brady. But again, it's a coin toss. And it's your coin to toss, my man. So don't put it on me. But for me, going with what we've seen so far, it seems like you have to play Brady. But it's a very tough call. And I feel like, Breeze, this might be a great... Again, Breeze, Monday night, national attention. And he could have those guys back, which could mean big, big things. Is it worth dropping T.Y.? I could still pick up an STD on the waiver wire to replace him. Listen, you don't have to go to the waiver wire to pick up an STD. You can just you can go to an Asian massage parlor and get one of them. Let me see. I mean, I think at this point it is worth dropping T.Y. Hilton. And here's what happens. He's finally, who knows when, I don't know when, he's finally going to have a big game and everybody's going to rush to pick him back up and then he's going to stink again. I think, I don't see the Keenan Allen thing happening for T.Y. Hilton. I just don't. Phillip Rivers clearly likes the other guys better when you're talking about the Colts. So I don't know. The T.Y. thing, it's not, he's fetch. Quit trying to make it happen. Joe Greenberg, welcome to the show. Josh Nasser, what's up, my man? Okay, so what else we got? Rams versus the Washington Redskins. Now, listen, this is very interesting. Now, the Rams defense should be a great play here. You have Kyle Allen coming in, but Kyle Allen might be better. And if he's better, Terry McLaurin might go off. So I like Terry McLaurin in this one. And I'm trying to think who their tight end is. But with the Rams, again, the Washington Redskins, the one strength they have is their defense. So in terms of the passing, I love Robert Woods. I think Jared Goff should have a decent day, but I wouldn't play him if you don't have to. And I guess Darrell Henderson if you're going to. So you also have Breeze and Brady. Well, again, it's a tough call. They're both playing under the lights, and they both play their best under the lights, when it's fucking showtime, and ain't nobody else, the whole nation's watching them. So I feel like it's almost a coin toss. It could be one of those weeks where both of them are going to do you right. Could be. But with this Rams-Washington game, I mean, the Rams' defense is the one that should feast. And again, because it's Kyle Allen, because he doesn't know these guys, because he wasn't playing the QB1 position in the few reps that they've had so far, I could see him throwing some sweet interceptions and getting sacked a few times. I really like the Rams' defense in this. Bills at Titans. Who knows? Are they going to play? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen with this silly game. It's a tough call. It's a tough call either way. I mean, do we call this? I mean, obviously, if they do play, they're both very good defenses, but you play your studs. Essentially, you play your studs. You play your Josh Allen. You play your Stephon Diggs. Now, the Devin Singletary, Zach Moss thing is going to get tricky because Zach Moss is back, so now that gets a little bit murkier, especially if you're a Devin Singletary owner. But I would play Singletary over Moss. With the Titans side, again, you probably want to go ahead and play, what's his face, the quarterback. But Derrick Henry, you have to play Derrick Henry. Stay away from A.J. Brown. He's another one of those that's kind of on the bust pile right now. I don't see anything happening. Keenan Allen or Henderson in the flex. This one's a no-brainer. Keenan Allen all day, every day. That one's a no-brainer. Keenan Allen, and I told you guys, Herbert can get the ball to Keenan Allen, and boy, has he. Okay, let's move on to Eagles and Steelers. Listen, I know the Eagles, they kind of pulled one out of their ass last week against the Rams, but I wouldn't expect that to happen again this week. The Steelers defense is one of the best defenses, and they're rested somewhat and bad. If anything, I wouldn't play any Eagles, Steelers defense, Ben Roethlisberger, and of course, Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson, although I know Deontay Johnson's a little bit banged up. So, let's see. Jets, Cardinals. Okay, here we are. Count Drake-ula. Is he going to suck? I suck this week again. I suck. You wasted a second-round draft pick, and I'm garbage. If he doesn't turn it around this week, it's now or never. It is now or never. James Conner, yes, James Conner, you definitely want to play James Conner. He was electric finally. And that's the thing. James Conner didn't start out that great for 2 games, and then he turned it around. And come on, Kenyon, come on, don't be Drake-ula. Fucking do a good job. Fucking play good for once, you motherfucker. On the Jets side of the ball, again, now, Le'Veon Bell is probably going to play in this. Do you play him? I mean, no, unless you have to, unless you want a dart throw. He is a straight up dart throw this week because he might come back from injury and want to prove something. And again, it's now Flacco instead of Darnold. There could be a whole new energy there. I think obviously, Jamison Crowder has proved to be, pretty productive no matter what. I think you play Crowder. I don't like the Jets defense. I do like the Arizona defense. But again, I kind of fear, I know you picked up the Arizona defense specifically because they're playing against the Jets, but it's a different Jets now. It's a Jets that will probably have Le'Veon Bell and as a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Joe Flacco. Granted, not the same Joe Flacco as before. But honestly, I consider Flacco way more dangerous. And we will find out this week. What's up, Primo? Órale, Thielen or Lamb or Gordon. This is tough only because of the fact that Philip Lindsay's back. Philip Lindsay is back. CeeDee Lamb, of course, been doing great. But for me, it's Thielen without a question because they're going up against Seattle. And again, so it turns into an air raid game. I think Thielen feasts in this one. I think you absolutely go with Thielen, especially since they do have to pay attention to Justin Jefferson now. That is going to open it up. I love Thielen in that combination. And Denver is playing against the Patriots, which right now their offense is a mess because of their quarterback situation, but they're still a great defense. And so long as the Broncos don't have their quarterback either, again, that's a game where really the plays are going to be the two defenses. But we'll get to that game. So Cardinals, I think Kyler Murray. I think you play Kyler. Definitely, obviously, DeAndre Hopkins. But I think Kenyon Drake. This. Show me something. Show me something good. Wow, wow. Tell me you don't suck. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I need a little water. I'm getting a little excited. I'm getting hot. Let's keep going, guys. Raiders. The Raiders. At the Chiefs. I mean, listen, the Raiders, I think, are better than their 2-2 record. The Chiefs are exactly who they think they are, which is they're building a dynasty team. That defense looks fantastic. The offense looks fantastic. Obviously, you're going to play your studs in that one. You could probably get away with playing Mecole Hardman. He's, in a flex position because he seems like that guy that sneaks out and get a touchdown. I like him a lot. On the Raiders side of the ball, I mean, you got to temper your expectations. This Chiefs defense seems to be getting better by the week. And so when you talk about Josh Jacobs, he might, you have to play Josh Jacobs. And I'll tell you a sneaky play. I hope Henry Ruggs gets back on the field because clearly I think he has the opportunity to do a Justin Jefferson type thing. I don't know if it's this week versus the Chiefs, but they were looking for him and he got banged in the knee on his first fucking play. God damn it. That was painful, but I still like Ruggs down, for the season, but I wouldn't play him in this particular game. You got to get him out there first and see how he moves. Why is D on the hat correct, but the lettering on the poster backwards? I will tell you, because I do this, obviously, in selfie mode, which flips it around. And a buddy of mine, Mike Boucher, who would watch the show, was driven crazy by the D being backwards. So he actually printed me a hat with the D for Dallas backwards on it. So when I do the show, the D actually looks correct. And I keep meaning to go back down to Staples and ask them if they can print this. Print my sign in reverse so it actually looks correct. I'm glad. Thank you, Banu, for bringing that up. I'm glad somebody asked me about it, and I hope now anybody who has had that question feels that issue has been resolved. Okay. So that's Raiders at Chiefs. Obviously, I'd say play the Chiefs defense. Jaguar. Oh, and Darren Waller. I mean, you have to play Darren Waller. I mean, that's the thing. Play your studs. That's the one thing I would say about this, guys. I've out-coached myself out of 2 victories now. And I think it's become clear with all the things that have been going crazy with the COVID and the massive amount of injuries. I think the only strategy that really seems to work is player studs. That seems to be the only thing you could count on week to week. So that's why you just want to play the guys that are playing the best, irregardless. Temper your expectations. What advice do you have for Atlanta folks? Expect the best, brace for the worst. That would be... Who are you guys? You guys are playing the Panthers. Now listen, this is a winnable game. This is a winnable game for you, but unfortunately, Teddy Bridgewater is kind of finding his feet, and he's starting to get that ball around. It isn't going to be a cakewalk for you guys, but if Atlanta is going to win a game, this could be that game. Did they and they fired their coach? Isn't he another coach that's out, or is Bill O'Brien the only one out? I don't remember. Did they fire their coach down there too? Because otherwise, I mean, he might be. I think didn't they fire him this week, or was it just Bill O'Brien? Either way, he's on the hot seat. If he loses one, he's gone. But for some reason, I seem to remember that he also got fired, but nobody's talking about that because of COVID. All right, Jaguars and Texans. Listen. This should be, because both, when a coach does get fired, so Seifert says not yet in Atlanta. Okay, so listen, they got to do something. If they're going to win a game, this is the game. But let's talk about Texans. Okay, so they did fire their coach. And if it's one thing we've seen, is that when a team gets rid of a coach that wasn't getting the job done, they, for some reason, have a great game. They come out and play their best. Because I don't know, they feel reinvigorated there's a change in energy. Instead of not believing in this guy, they just believe in themselves. So I'll tell you the guy that's another Drake-ula is David Johnson. This guy, and really, he's the key to Deshaun Watson's game. Because if they would just do what they're doing with Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees, the Saints, just short pass out and let him get up the field, they might be winning games. So if they would, hopefully that's what happens. Deshaun Watson's numbers go up, and David Johnson actually ends up showing what he can do, then that could be a great game for them. Ultimately, this might be a great game. Gardner Minshew, he was hot for a second, and then I don't know. And again, this Texas defense is going to be playing with Allegre. They're going to be playing with a little life. They're going to be coming at him. I hate Gardner Minshew in this, although I do like James Robinson, the running back. He's proven that this kid can play. I like him. Brian Bentley, welcome to the show. So I like him. I like James Robinson. But right now, he's the only one that I like on the Jaguar side of the ball. On the Texas side of the ball, I like Deshaun Watson in a comeback. And I like David Johnson to be the recipient of that comeback. Who knows? Ravens and Bengals. Listen, guys, I know Joe Mixon went off. If only they could play Jacksonville every week. And that's what gives me hope for David Johnson, because Joe Mixon has traditionally been a fire island. And then all of a sudden he looked amazing. And now everyone's going to rush out to start him, but he's against the Ravens. And I'm telling you, he will be the Joe Mixon of old this week against the Ravens. I wouldn't start anyone on the Bengals, including Joe Burrow. He's going to throw 3 picks and 1 touchdown. Now, he's going to keep slinging the ball, and he may still hit 300 yards because it's going to be all just fucking passing to try and catch up. But ultimately, I like the Ravens at all levels on this one. Even if you're in the flex play, I know Mark Ingram's been up and down and disappointing. And even J.K. Dobbins, because I think it's going to be a pretty big ass beating, I think that you're going to be able to see some J.K. Dobbins action in the fourth quarter. And listen, everyone's been disappointed, and I guess he's been a little bit banged up in Lamar Jackson. So, but this is the get-right game for Lamar Jackson. Falcons and Panthers, we talked about them already. Good luck, and God help you. And listen, don't expect this Todd Gurley production to keep up. I don't think it's going to. I think he, again, that was what we were looking, that was his usage that he had back the Rams. I don't know if it works out that way again. I feel like it's going to be like a 1 week situation. I know everyone's going to put him in with confidence this week, but temper your expectations. Dolphins at Niners. This should be Fitzpatrick's last game. I told you that big Thursday night game, he would follow that up with a turd burger, and he did. And everyone was like, I love him this week versus Seattle. He's going to, and he sucked a dick. He did exactly what he does. This is the game. He's going to go out there, throw 3 picks, and don't be surprised if Tua comes off the bench and takes over in the second half of this game. Mark my words, put it down. The Wilson said it first. But the Niners, I think, again, there's a lot up in the air. Does Jimmy Garoppolo come back? Mostert is back. Kittle is obviously way back. Kittle, he's going to get hurt again, guys. I mean, that's what he does. He has huge games, and then he gets injured. That's just what he does. So, play him while you can. So with the 49ers, I mean, who else do they have coming back? Deebo Samuel. Play Deebo Samuel. I love Deebo Samuel. They kind of eased him in last week. I think this week you're going to see a lot more Deebo. On the Dolphins side, just stay away from it. Gesicki, bench Gesicki. If Ertz can't get it done, Gesicki can't get it done. Just stay away from all your Dolphins. I don't like any of them in this game. The Giants versus the Cowboys. This is a game where, again, I know everyone expects the Cowboys to go out there and ball out like they've been, but they're going against their former coach, and that's a dangerous it's a trap. It's a trap. Watch out, because he knows what to do against you. I like Devontae Freeman in this game. I hate to say it. I do like the receiver. I like Daniel Jones. Because they know what the Cowboys are. For the Cowboys, because the Giants suck, obviously, you got to play your Cowboys. You got to play your studs. But I'm telling you right now, McKinnon's been playing very well. But again, remember that Shanahan has 0 allegiance. Donut, Blutarski allegiance. 0.0. That's how much allegiance he has to any running back. Which, again, we'll see if who gets the opportunities. And that's the problem you have, is you just don't know what's going to happen. Even with Mostert, come on. The one game they played together was the one that Mostert got injured in. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. But again, play the Niners. I think this is a plus matchup against these Dolphins. And again, I think this is the last game for Fitzpatrick. I think that, the Niners defense, if you can afford them in daily fantasy, they're going to you're going to think it's Thanksgiving over there. Cowboys, Giants, again, play the offenses. But, you're going to play Zeke. You're going to play CeeDee Lamb. You're going to, I'm playing all 3 of those guys. You're going to play Dak and all these. But again, because it could be weird. It could be a trap. That's what I'm saying. But you got to play them. Colts versus the Browns. Listen, I know the Browns looked great last week against my beautiful Dallas Cowboys. But again, it was because they were playing the Cowboys. This Colts defense is the number 1 best defense for fantasy football right now. I think you're going to see play the Colts defense. And I know Kareem Hunt is doing great and should have a decent game, but he's banged up. He's kind of banged up. And D'Ernest Johnson, again, I know he looked great last week with those fresh legs and wanted to show everybody what he's got, but this is a great Colts defense. Xavier Rhodes is going to be on OBJ. I'm telling you, in my opinion, if anybody gets off of this game for the Browns, it is going to be Jarvis Landry and Austin Hooper. Those are the 2 guys that I think are going to be kind of open. I think OBJ has a shit game. I think Kareem Hunt gets shut down. Well, I think Kareem Hunt has a decent game, not a great game. And I think D'Ernest Johnson does not have a very good game. But who knows? But that's why they play the game. On the Colts side of the ball, I like Mo Alley-Cox because he seems to be the guy that Rivers is the most comfortable going to. And on the running, now with the running side of the game, what happened to Jonathan Taylor? Jonathan Taylor was supposed to be the man, and yet now it's like it's a little Naheem Hines, a little Jonathan Taylor. I think there was a 3rd guy that they were even throwing into that mix. I don't know if you can touch these running backs. And the Browns' defense is not bad either. So temper your expectations a little bit when it comes to the players on the Colts side of the ball and the Browns side of the ball. I think this is going to be a much more defensive game than an offensive game. Broncos and Patriots, again, I think this is one where you play both defenses, and, you know, the offensive weapons are a toss-up because both quarterbacks in play are not good. You know, with Hoyer or the other guy, Jarrett Stidham, you know, you saw them completely collapse, so I like the Broncos defense against that. And then they're having to use, what's his name, on the Broncos side of the ball, who also was a practice squad guy, so that's not good. You know, they're going to have to try to run the ball again. Patriots are incredible defense. I don't like any offensive players in this game, but I love both defenses to get a bunch of turnovers and to get interceptions, pick sixes. This will be a lot of defensive scoring, very little offensive scoring, in my humble opinion, even for, you know, the running backs there with Phillip Lindsay and what's his name? Gordon. So I don't like any of those guys. It's going to be very tough for all of them. Vikings, because they don't have the quarterback play. Vikings and Seahawks. This is a great get right. Listen, ever since I told what's his name, the quarterback for the Vikings, that fucking guy. Ever since I told him to quit football, he's been great. So, expect him to again, Vikings offense, Seahawks offense. Play Chris Carson. Play Lockett. Lockett is going to have a comeback game. After all those balls he dropped last week, he's going to have a huge comeback. Obviously, DK Metcalf, you're going to play him. And then on the Thielen, I love Thielen in this game. And Justin Jefferson should do pretty well as well. But really, Dalvin Cook should go off. I love Dalvin Cook in this game, and Chris Carson. I think both those guys are going to have monstrous games. And finally, Monday night, Chargers at Saints. The Chargers are surprisingly good defense, and the Saints are surprisingly bad defense. So I think what you wind up with here, and again, it's Breeze, it's Monday night. He's got he's got everything going on. Yeah, and again, does he get Michael Thomas back? Does he get Jared Cook? I don't know. These are big questions. But Drew Brees, under the lights, I like it a lot. Justin Herbert, he'll have to throw to keep up. I like it a lot. I love Keenan Allen. Now, Josh Kelly, this kid's got it. He's a fumbler, though. So if he can just hold on to the ball, expect Josh Kelly to have a thunderous game. I love Josh Kelly so long as he holds on to the ball. If he fumbles that ball, the whole thing's a waste because they're going to pull him. Justin Jackson will be in a lot more, and the whole thing will fucking fall apart. But play Keenan Allen and possibly play. I know Hunter Henry but don't be surprised. Maybe Hunter Henry's the 3-touchdown TD this week. It's a dart throw every week with tight ends. You really don't know. Go with your gut. Trust your instinct. Go with God. That's it, guys. That's the show. Follow the podcast both on Twitter at FFHR, Fantasy Football Harsh Reality, FFHR Podcast. Both on Twitter and on Instagram at FFHR Podcast. And, of course, enjoy this live video that I post up on my YouTube, as well as on my Instagram at Greg Romero Wilson, and on Facebook at The Greg Wilson. That's it, guys. Listen, I'm going to be watching that game tonight, just like, oh, come on, Brady, don't suck. But it looks like Brady's got it going. I love you guys. You guys, take care. Let's you know what? And feel free to hit me up on the gram or on the Twitter or whatever, and like just we'll continue chopping it up, talking about what we got right, what we got wrong, decisions we made that went right, decisions we made that went wrong. Listen, I picked up James Robinson. I picked up Josh Kelly weeks ago. So there's a lot of things happening that I really like. So you guys, trust your gut, go with God, and good football.